Today's Christmas Eve here at Warehouse and Operations as a Career. I'm Marty, and I love this time of year. It's different. The weather's different. Our outlooks are different. It seems like everyone's open to change. As a whole, I feel like our spirits are up, and we're ready to plan out our next year. Have all of you written out your goals for 2021? At least the first quarter? I was just reviewing my 2020 accomplishments, and to be honest, I was quite surprised how well I had done. You know, with the pandemic and all, I thought I'd had a year with less wins than I've actually had. I have had to punt a few of my, let's see, we'll call them dreams down the road a bit, but I believe I was able to reach, or at least nearly reach, all of my financial ones. Once again solidifying, in my opinion anyway, that the manufacturing, production, and distribution fields are the chosen careers. Although manufacturing and production slowed a bit for a couple of months, they are both up and running across almost all industries. And distribution is running behind like always. You know, nationally, we could always use more truck drivers and equipment operators in the distribution world. I don't believe that we will ever change or get caught up. Anyway, it's past time really, that we're thinking about what we want, our goals, and planning for next year. How much more money are you going to make in 2021? If you don't pick a number, it's probably not going to increase over this year. I'm just saying. Okay, so I was presented with the question, what is with everyone being so comfortable with their positions right now? Well, I'm no psychologist or counselor, but I think it's been a rough year on all of us. If we were fortunate enough not to lose any income over the last 9 months, I'm sure that we knew someone that did. Today, there are 12.2 million Americans out of work. The November unemployment rate, non-farm rate, was 6.7%. I'll include the link. It's a pretty interesting read from the Bureau of Labor Statistics.gov or BOL.gov. But you know, things are improving, but I'm not sure how we as human beings are really dealing with it. I kind of answered the question with a question. I said I'm wondering the same thing. I'm seeing people, several associates, gluing or mounting pictures of their families and children to their forklifts. I saw a pallet jack about 3 weeks ago with a picture of a beautiful German Shephard puppy attached to it. And I'm noticing office doors that used to be open all the time being closed now. People that work in cubicle areas are hanging cloth partitions up. They look good, but they're closing themselves off. Do you believe it is to social distance, or are we becoming closed off socially and individually? And is that what you meant by comfortable? His only comment was exactly, and he just kind of looked at me. Now, he's responsible for a staff of about 80 associates. He is seeing or believes he's witnessing people needing to be wrapped in security. Not particularly job security, and that may very well be a thing of the past for a little while, but a need for the familiar. He shared that there are no more domino games at break time. People are not congregating at lunch tables. Everyone seems to be watching movies or playing games on their phones. Not being rude or even unhappy, they're just alone. We'll ask a few more questions of him. I wanted to know if he was noticing this shift in culture, just in particular areas or departments, or was it kind of across the board? He first stated that it was noticeable everywhere. Then, as we discussed a little further, he felt like it was much more noticeable in the loaner positions. I had to ask what a loaner position was. He laughed and said, those people we supervisors never see. The order selectors, replenishment fork operators, and inventory control employees. I told him now I had a new term for what I used to call the independent worker. At this point, I was really kind of scratching my head. For I, too, had witnessed this over the last several weeks and just did not associate it with a new norm. So me, being who I am, I hit the phones and scheduled a few walkthroughs with a handful of supervisors I knew I could get in to see. I wanted to ask them a couple of questions on the subject. I have to say, and quite unexpectedly, whether I was speaking with them on the phone or walking the floor with them, they had a lot to say. Now, you're all ops people, so you know it's hard to grab time from a warehouse supervisor or manager. And yet, well, I guess I'd found or was given a topic that they felt compelled to discuss. So question 1 was, are your employees asking more questions, like in startup or safety meetings, than what they used to? The general consensus was that they were probably getting less questions. And not that they ever got a lot, in that group setting, but that the one-on-one questions had really doubled. Most said that they were now being approached by almost every associate at least once during the week. Maybe the encounter would have nothing to do with work, but that the employee was stopping by, and a lot more often. A few said now that we're talking about it, they were feeling bad for not, taking a couple extra minutes to just kind of shoot the breeze with them. A couple of them asked me why I think people are doing that. I didn't have an answer for them. The second question was, have you seen more interest in internal movement or upward mobility within your departments? Now this was good. Every supervisor had noticed a willingness of associates to learn other tasks, like the tasks that directly precedes or follow theirs. But the manager said that their supervisors and admins or clerks seemed to be presenting much better follow-through and energy. And each one of them mentioned that those same employees seemed to be seeking out mentors and having brainstorming sessions with the management teams a lot more often. I again was asked what had gotten into everyone. So another question, I think the one that bothered me the most was, are you seeing a change in your gathering areas, break rooms, smoking areas, or lunch rooms? Now this was split about half and half, but the split seemed to be by positions. I found that odd. Again, forklift operators, sanitation, and utility workers, order selectors, the kind of positions I had learned earlier to call loner tasks, seemed to even shy away more from social interaction with, everyone else at break. And they seem to all be working harder, much more focused. Whereas unloaders, loaders, receivers, drivers, people that have a lot of human contact in their positions appeared to be much closer now, at least since, we were talking about it. Now at the end of each conversation, and remember that these were all one-on-one talks, I ask again, now, are you really seeing and experiencing something different, or is us talking about it just bringing up some thoughts and opinions? Well, unequivocally, each member of management said no. My floor's culture has changed, at least to some degree. And then my next question, of course, had to be, so the change has been good or bad? Here's a laugh. No one had an answer to that one. I think it's because they have changed a bit themselves. During the Thanksgiving holidays, I shared with a few friends that I noticed something, an emptiness for lack of a better word. Now, I am that guy that likes the first hour of a family get-together, and then I'm pretty much out. Or I don't even mind hosting the event at my house because I can schedule it for 2 hours and then everyone has to leave. But this year I felt differently. I had 2 relatives come by, and it was just different. It made me wonder if an old man like me, that literally did not care about getting together in the first place, had felt a little different. Well, what is happening to our grandkids, our children, and the young adults right now? As adults, with a lot on our minds right now, are they picking up on any of this at all? Are they noticing how different things appear now? And are our jobs being affected by these additional worries even? So the original question used the word comfortable. And although no one I spoke with used that word in our discussions, I think it describes what everyone said. Others are reaching out to us leaders in their own way. This particular supervisor felt like his associates was much more comfortable coming forward and talking with him. I was speaking with a CFO today, my go-to financial guru from the podcast Unlocking the Secret to Living Rich, about this subject, and she used the word nesting. I like nesting. I think it projects what all us ops men and women are trying to understand. Now, with all that being said, I have a thought or two. You knew I'd have an opinion, right? As an employee, I think everything is going to be all right. It's going to be different for a bit longer, but it's going to be all right. One thing I'm feeling good about is that I think it's bringing us closer together in the workplace. I feel like maybe we're showing a little more compassion towards our colleagues. I encourage everyone to go visit with their bosses more often. I know most of our bosses aren't counselors or psychologists, but hey, it doesn't hurt to go talk with them more often. And for us as management and frontline management, we need to do what we're supposed to do, which is lead our associates. Again, we're fortunate to be in an industry that is growing and ramping up. We need to cheer on the team when we can. We can't make promises regarding what is going to happen next, but we can help our teams prepare for whatever comes across our paths. I know one company that is planning a little light industrial finance 101 class for their associates, and another that is randomly offering drawings for things like gift cards, a day's pay, and TVs for attendance awards. It is our jobs, a leader's job, to be honest with our associates and lead them towards success, encourage them. And it's our responsibility to see that they do grow, both professionally and personally. And I think it's okay that we're all a little needy right now. That nesting feeling that we all have is all right. It's going to be okay, my friends, because it is. And should you ever feel that it's not and you need help, just shoot us an email to host@warehouseandoperationsasacareer.com and we will find some help for us. There's recruiters across the nation, numbers we can share with you. We're a team, right? Well, this time next week, we'll be ushering in a new year. Seriously, let's get to work on our 2021 plans. We are going to earn more money next year than we did this year, period. To not do so is just not an option. Again, if you need help figuring out how or what you should be doing to reach that goal, send us an email. We'll share what little we know with you regarding planning and goal achievement. So Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays to you. Please respect your beliefs and the beliefs of others. We're all first and foremost ops people, right? Team WAOC. Be safe and help keep others safe.